Yo, what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and welcome to your daily astrological horoscope for Tuesday, November 19th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Trusting you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful start to your week. Let's go ahead and hop into it and see what we got going on today. All right, well, we do have that moon in Cancer today. It's going to make a couple aspects, but nothing too crazy, of course. It's going to, it's going to square Chiron. This is going to be at the same time that it's actually making a quincunx over to Mercury over here in Sagittarius. It's going to be happening at 19 degrees, of course. Let me switch this to hours because I had it on years. So I was looking at something else before this. But we are, like I said, we're going to see that moon make that square to Chiron. Remember, the moon moves very fast, right? So we only feel these influences for a short amount of time. I would say it's the strongest about 2 hours leading up to it, the actual transit itself, and then 2 hours after. So you got about a 4 or 5 hour block where you feel this the most intense, right? So this moon in Cancer, of course, it likes to be in Cancer. It feels good in Cancer. Albeit, what's interesting about these moon in Cancers that we've been having lately is that typically when the moon goes into Cancer, it goes out of bounds, meaning that its declination is, I think it's like south, right? Yeah, no, excuse me, it's north. It's 26 degrees north in declination. That just means that the 23.5 degree tilt, essentially, that the moon is, either above or it's either above that, like north or south. So if it's like 24, 25, or 26 degrees north or south, that means that it's out of bounds. And then when a planet is out of bounds, essentially the energies of that planet can be a bit exaggerated. So if your emotions are feeling a bit exaggerated, or if you're a little bit more emotional right now, that could be the reason why. And like I said, we've been experiencing this for, every single time that the moon goes into Cancer, it pretty much is going out of bounds, right? Mercury is also out of bounds. Venus is also out of bounds. So a lot of the personal planets, the one dealing with their mind, and then of course Venus, which, yeah, it's the planet of love, but it's also the planet of how we like to receive things. All these energies are very, very exaggerated right now. Very exaggerated. So you guys can just see what I'm talking about. 26 degrees north, 25 degrees south, 25 degrees south. And then even if you look at the scores, we have the moon is at +6, sun is at +5, even Mars is doing well at +5, Venus is at +3. So we do have some positive energy here overall, but we got to remember too that, even Mercury at +1, but Mercury is slowing down. Mars is slowing down, right? So the main thing about today, of course, is, let me move this back so it's a little bit better for you guys. The main thing about today, though, that should be the main focus, is the fact that Pluto will be coming into Aquarius. It will clock in at 00. I don't know the exact time, but it's going to be between 2:46 and 3:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. By this time, the moon will be coming off of the square to Chiron and will be coming off of the quincunx over to Mercury. We'll talk a little bit about those. So the square, right? That's generally a challenging aspect. Chiron, of course, in Aries can be dealing a lot with our insecurities as far as how we express ourselves, maybe even our physical appearance, which may make some people want to just not really go anywhere, maybe just clam up and be at home. And I think this is also going to be playing off of a lot of people's fears of going out into the public in general, especially for these last 4 years. There are a lot of people that are just afraid to go out, afraid to show up, afraid to be out and about. So this moon squaring Chiron could definitely play off of some of those fears, right? Some of those insecurities. The quincunx over to Mercury. The quincunx, or the in conjunction, it's kind of interesting. It's a 150-degree angle. I call it the awkward stare from across the room. But another way to look at it is feeling like you're on the same page, but you're not actually on the same page. So that's what makes it awkward. It's almost like two individuals that feel like they're saying the same thing, but then they come to find out that they are actually on two different pages. So that's what can make it awkward. So Mercury in Sagittarius, like I said, doesn't really like to be there, and it's having to consider all of these different things, all these different possibilities, and it's about the adventure, but it's much more broad in Sagittarius, whereas Mercury would much rather be much more particular and kind of have its ducks in a row, whereas in Sagittarius, it's sort of like go at the wind, go with what comes, just be broad. It's just broad strokes, right? When Mercury's in Sagittarius, it's much more of like you could say it's much more abstract art. It's much more up for interpretation, but it much rather have like an actual subject, like it would in Gemini, right? Now, this moon, it's like we want to be on the same page emotionally with people when it comes to communicating our beliefs, if you will, with Sagittarius, or our goals, our dreams, our visions. We want to feel like we're on the same page with people, and that maybe that these things can be congruent, but we may come to find out that maybe it's not so the case. How can we overcome those challenges of maybe the vision's not fully aligning, and maybe, if those visions don't fully align, are there some uncomfortable feelings that may arise from that? How do we deal with those uncomfortable feelings? Are these feelings that are just going to last a little bit? Are these feelings that we have been suppressing and keeping down? Are there certain things that we need to say that we just aren't saying because we're worried about how it's going to affect the overall level of peace and harmony amongst people? So these are the things that we're going to have to kind of, weigh out here, right? I think it's interesting too, if you just look back, we do have the moon with Chiron, and we also have Black Moon Lilith here. So we do effectively had a cardinal T-square. So that Black Moon Lilith is going to add another element, if you will, to the relationships and how we relate to each other. How, are we going to allow our insecurities of how we express ourselves and who we are come in and dictate how we communicate to people, even if we may not see eye to eye on everything, but can we find some common ground? Can we build some bridges with people so we can move on to the next level? Or are we going to just remain stuck our sometimes I'm getting this feeling that our comforts can sometimes become our prison, right? Sometimes it can become our prison. And then it doesn't actually stimulate our growth, and it doesn't stimulate our, us wanting to move forward, if you will. So just something to keep in mind. But like I said, the main star of the show today is the fact that Pluto's coming into Aquarius, right? So now I've been maintaining, if there was a date for the actual official start of the age of Aquarius, I would say we have to wait for Pluto to go through Aquarius. So it's going to be about 20 years. Because Pluto is all about this transformative quality, Aquarius's need to be transformed, like just Aquarius suns, like whether you're sun, moon, or rising there especially, but there needs to be a transformative quality that comes to Aquarius energy in general before we really could fully step into that age. And what's interesting about this is that there are so many people that are waiting for the age of Aquarius or clamoring for the age of Aquarius. It's technically already here, right? If we're going to be like real about it, if I just put on my Pisces cap for a little bit here, time is not linear, right? So you can access all of these different timelines right now if you wanted to, right? Because you can use the power of your mind, you use the power of your will to access these energies and these dimensions if you want to. So the age of Aquarius, it's one thing that's one thing that it will teach us about time and our place in the universe and our place amongst our galactic neighborhood, and we're going to start reconnecting with all these other aspects and versions of ourselves, right? I know everyone's looking for aliens, everyone's looking for these sort of things, everyone's looking for disclosures, everyone's waiting for this magical kumbaya moment that the age of Aquarius is supposed to be. It's not going to happen the way that you think it's going to happen. We're not going to just all be just singing kumbaya and, holding hands. And there's going to be some hard work, and there's going to be some blood, sweat, and tears. There's going to be some sacrifice that comes with this, right? So we have to stop waiting for the age of Aquarius to come, and we have to actually bring it into fruition. The only way that it's going to come is if we take the necessary steps and we actually become the change that we want to see in the world. And it all starts with you. So it's not about waiting for something to come. It's not about waiting for some sort of savior. It's not about waiting for some sort of water bearer. And that's what Aquarius is. It's the water bearer, right? It's serving the people, and that's the thing about Aquarius. They have no problem with serving the people in the soup line. And I feel like humanity right now, we're kind of in a soup line, and we're waiting for some sort of deity or some type of being, some higher power to come and save us. And then maybe that being will come, but then it's not like they're going to spend a ton of time on you because they got to take care of the human after you and the human after you and the human after you in line, right? So they're going to be scurrying us along. We're going to get what we need, but it's almost like people are waiting for that moment. And then when it comes, and it's not going to, it doesn't give them the umph or the validation. That's the other part. The age of validation is, I feel like, coming to an end, right? People want to be validated so much, and it's about, you got to validate yourself. So that's what this whole shift is going to bring, and it's going to shock a lot of people because they want to think that it's going to be some sort of all benevolent being, creature, whatever, system, person, thing that comes and saves all of humanity. And maybe it will, but it's not like it's going to just spend all this time on you in particular because it has so many other people to me. So it's almost like we want, I mean, Santa is technically Sag energy, but it's almost like we want Santa to, we forget that Santa has all these houses to visit, right? We forget about that. Santa can't just spend all of his time at your house. There is thousands upon millions of houses to visit, right? So we can't get butthurt if we don't get the time spent with us that we want. So that's why I say this comes down to your personal growth, your personal journey with the divine. That's what this whole Pluto and Aquarius thing is going to be about. This age of Aquarius, so to speak, it's technically already here. If I had to put like a date on it, I would say the last day of like when Pluto officially moves into Pisces, then we'll really start to, I guess, see it more in the physical. But like I said, time is not linear. So this energy already exists and we can already access it. So why wait? Why do we need to wait for a particular moment to go for it and do something? And that's the interesting thing about astrology. Yes, when planets are in certain houses and when planets are in certain signs, it may be more opportune to do things at those times. But that's not to say that you can't bend the rules, if you will. And that's what humans do. We always bend the rules. We always break the rules, right? So you don't have to wait until Saturn is in a certain house or the moon is in a certain spot or Jupiter is expecting a certain thing to get into a relationship or to start a business or to do whatever. You don't have to wait. The transits will be what they are. You make it happen. And then it's one of those things where you look back and you be like, okay, I can see why that transit supported this, or why I did that at this time, you know? So I would say don't stress over it. And that's the other thing about this Mercury here in Sag is that it really is telling us to think big and to go for it, right? You know, I think a lot of times when it comes to the spiritual path or the path of enlightenment and stuff like that, is that sometimes spiritual people, we can get very particular about different details. And we start to focus on all the numbers and this thing. We got to wear this crystal on that day and whatever. I'm like, you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. Now, generally, if you want to be a well-rounded person, you got to take all of the signs into consideration, of course, right? But generally, spirituality is ruled by the 12th house. Guess what? Mercury doesn't like to be in the 12th house. It doesn't like to be in Pisces, right? So that's the thing about it. If you're trying to get too particular that this needs to be here and that needs to be there and that needs to be there and then everything will be spiritually perfect, then you're going to miss the bus. You're going to miss the train, and you're not going to get the results that you want. So, you know, I'm not saying to not have a routine. I'm not saying to not have a plan or anything like that. I'm not saying to not play Virgo, but we don't have any energy in Virgo right now, right? So it's not like, so that's the thing. Like, we don't have any energy in Virgo, right? And the only energy, I guess, in Gemini is we have Jupiter there, which is retrograde, right? So, you know, don't focus so much on how it all looks right now and all of the little details and stuff. Just take it step by step, day by day, and know that this evolution is something that's going to take time. So enjoy the ride. And that's all I got for you guys, right? Card of the day. I have is the Nine of Wands. I got the Nine of Wands, but it is in reverse. So, yeah, like I said, there's no need to wait here. This card normally talks about kind of preparing for something or waiting for something to happen, but it's in reverse. And I think it's interesting too because I don't necessarily know the lore behind the particular card. I have to look at the actual deck and stuff like that. But there's like these flaming skulls, and there's this person. She's holding like a doll, and it looks like the cabin, the back is like walking or something like that, which is kind of interesting. So it's like I feel like so many people are just waiting for maybe bad news or something to happen or whatever. Man, this is like, with it being reversed, don't wait. Don't wait. Go ahead and get ahead of it. If you feel like there's something impending, go ahead and get ahead of it. Don't wait around for stuff because you're just going to throw yourself into an anxious tailspin. And that's not going to be useful right now. Anxiety can teach us some things for sure. It usually teaches us the things that we're running away from. But a lot of times anxiety is like you're too focused on what's coming and on the future, stuff like that. You're so focused on the future and you're so worried about what's going to happen and stuff like that. Whether it's 5 seconds from now, a day from now, a year from now, you're always so focused on them. It's about being in the present moment. So take a deep breath, come back to the present moment, and don't wait for anybody to just give you the answers or to do the work for you, or to don't wait for the age of Aquarius to officially begin and stuff like that so you can feel like the world is changing. No, be the change in the world that you want to see. That's really what it comes down to. And I don't even need astrology to tell you that, but the astrology right here supports it. That's going to do it for your astrology horoscope today. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey. If you did enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. But y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all on the next video. Peace.